Since events such as the 7/7 bombings in London and more recently the Woolwich attack, prejudice towards Islam has been on the rise in the UK. Statistics show that as much as 75% of anti-Islamic abuse takes place online.
The internet will offer you the platform to not only voice your view, but actually to strengthen it.
Perhaps, Muslims have become, in the eyes of, small sections of the public and some sections of the press, as being that group that is responsible, seemingly, for all of society's ills.
I'm always really surprised when I'm engaging on the web or in social media at the kind of things that people will say.
With an increasing trend for people to share their controversial political views on Twitter and Facebook, is it the young people who use these sites that are in the firing line?
My name's Ahmed Ali and I'm 22 years old. My parents were devout Muslims. I am not a practicing Muslim at the minute, however I do still hold some beliefs close to my heart. I was on Facebook, just browsing through, and I came across a post from an acquaintance of mine. I would say they were close friends. Used to hang about with them quite a bit when I was younger. And the comments were a tad disturbing. I didn't really want to get involved, have a rant in the morning, so I was just like, it's a tad too early for this, and I left it for that. And then a few hours later, got another comment on it, and he just went into rants about people need to leave the country, this, that, the other, not your family, you're alright, but others don't. And I was like, really, what is the difference?
How did it make you feel?
Irritated, slightly upset.
Do you think it's easier for people to be hateful and kind of have opinions on Facebook and Twitter and things?
I do believe that's the case, that people find it much easier to sort of insult people or ridicule them, because there's that blanket, the protection of the internet. They're not doing it in front of somebody, so it takes a bigger person to go and say your views or your perspectives or your beliefs to somebody, to their face.
Abuse has been happening online probably because it is easier to abuse someone you don't see. There is a risk that if you are relatively interested in joining some right-wing extremist or Islamist extremist group, you are going to look for that kind of group on the internet, and the internet will offer you the platform.
Post the incident at Woolwich, what we've seen is people whose feelings perhaps have been hidden have started to feel more bolder, and they've come out of the woodwork more, and they've become perhaps more openly Islamophobic in a way that they never would have done before. There was something about that incident, I think it was probably because of it was the targeting of a soldier that has really triggered a backlash. And it's meant that, for example, Tommy Robinson, the leader of the English Defence League, his Twitter followers have doubled in a matter of weeks. And what our research that we're undertaking at the moment in Leicester is showing is that younger Muslims especially seem to be prone to this sort of online abuse. Young people feel especially hurt by that. Surprisingly so, perhaps more so sometimes than the sort of face-to-face abuse that they get.
One of the negative sides of social media for all people, but including young Muslims, is that engagement becomes very difficult in 140 characters, and people's ideas get shortened, which means they sound more abrupt, and it's much easier to have misunderstanding.
Following his interview, Ahmed got in contact with the man who had offended him on Facebook and asked if he would tell us his side of the story. He agreed to meet us in Clissold Park 3 weeks later, but never showed up.
All right, Ruby, so what's going on? Where are we today? What's happened?
Yeah, we're waiting around for Josh to show up. It's been about 4 hours we've been here now, and
Okay.
he's a no-show.
We were supposed to meet with Josh today, but he hasn't shown up, obviously.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
I was just a tad disappointed, really. Would have liked him to come, had a discussion, got his point across, seen what he was saying, but clearly there's a no-show, so it's a shame.
Have you seen him posting any sort of hurtful or upsetting things since?
Topi hasn't been posting or continuing to post those sort of comments anymore. Obviously everybody's entitled to express their opinions, but they should always be aware of the consequences and how it may make other people feel. Well, perhaps I might see Josh again. It really does depend on him. The ball's in his court, so he just needs to pick up the phone and give me a shout, really. I'm not going to hold any animosity towards him.
When we see other people spreading hate, and if you want to engage, again, you have to really understand, do you need to just make a statement in order that there is a counter to that negativity? Do you need to engage further? And for me, it's about understanding how you need to use your resources, because there's so much hate on the internet that you can't respond to all of it, and you have to really pick your calls.
Social media is undeniably a platform to spread negative views and opinions. Perhaps a bigger concern is that this can be done anonymously.
And that cloak of anonymity is very dangerous because it gives a vehicle for people to put ideas into the world. And there is really no distinction between offline and online when it comes to spreading ideas.
However, in an age where the internet is undeniably present and influencing,
The internet and social media have been a great invention, and they facilitated communication and information exchange.
perhaps young people should focus on the best way to react to this, whilst the responsibility lies with all of us to try and shape the internet into a more positive form of interaction.